The sky was dark, not with rain, but with hunger. Outside the little corner bakery in a rough part of town, two small figures stood under a flickering street lamp. They were twins, a boy and a girl, no older than 8. Thin, shivering, their clothes 2 sizes too big and patched in more places than whole. The girl's frizzy brown hair had come undone in the cold wind. The boy kept wiping his sister's nose with the edge of his frayed sleeve. Inside the bakery, the sweet aroma of fresh bread filled the warm air. Golden loaves lined the shelves, untouched by those who couldn't afford even a crust. The owner, Mrs. Carla, was a tough but kind woman in her 60s, with silver curls and a heart big enough to remember the faces of the poor kids in the neighborhood. But that day, her heart was heavy. The bakery wasn't doing well. Her own bills were piling up, and kindness no longer paid the rent. "Please, Miss Carla," the boy whispered, clutching his sister's hand as he stood on tiptoes to peer over the counter. "Can we get a small loaf? Just one. We'll pay later, promise. Mama's just sick today." The girl added softly, "We're not lying. We'll help clean or anything." Mrs. Carla hesitated, eyes flicking toward the back room where her accountant had left the final warning notice on her desk. Then a voice interrupted. Deep, firm, curious. "What's your name, son?" The boy turned, startled. A tall man in a sharp navy blue suit stood just behind them. He was clean-cut, in his early 40s, with a trimmed beard and the kind of posture that made people move out of his way. He looked like he didn't belong on this street, in this part of the city, where struggle was the only currency most families knew. The boy gulped. "Jace, and this is my sister Lily." The man knelt, his gaze gentle. "Where's your mother?" "At home. She couldn't get up this morning," Jace whispered. "We haven't eaten since yesterday." The man looked at Mrs. Carla, who could only shrug silently. He stood, pulled out his wallet, and bought not just 1, but 5 loaves of bread, along with warm soup and pastries. Then he bent down again and handed them the bag. "For now, but tomorrow, I want to meet your mother." Lily looked at him with huge eyes. "Why?" He smiled, but there was something in it, something haunted. "Because I once knew a woman who begged for bread, and I was too late." The next morning, the man came back. He was early, standing outside the bakery with 2 coffee cups. He asked Mrs. Carla for the twins' address, and with some hesitation, she told him. It was the old red brick building at the end of 7th Avenue, 3rd floor, apartment 302. Everyone in the neighborhood knew it. And what they knew most was that the people who lived there had fallen on hard times. When he climbed the narrow stairs, the man was met by a frail woman opening the door. She wore a faded cardigan and looked barely older than him, but exhaustion had aged her 10 years. Her name was Clara, the twins' mother. She recognized him immediately, surprised and confused. "You must be the man who helped my kids," she said in a soft voice. "Thank you. But why are you here?" He introduced himself. "My name is Daniel Mercer." She stiffened slightly. The name meant something. He was the Daniel Mercer, the reclusive millionaire who had disappeared from public life 5 years ago after the tragic loss of his wife and unborn daughter in a car crash. Over coffee, Clara explained everything. She'd once been a kindergarten teacher. Her husband left when the twins were 2. Then came layoffs, illness, and debt. The hardest part wasn't going hungry. It was watching her kids learn not to ask for things they needed, like shoes that fit or a full lunchbox. Daniel listened quietly, then reached into his coat pocket and placed a photograph on the table. It was of a woman who looked strikingly similar to Clara, but younger, brighter, and pregnant. "That's my wife," Daniel said. 5 years ago she died. She'd spent her last months volunteering at an underfunded school in this neighborhood. You might have even met her. Clara covered her mouth in shock. "She used to drop off books for the children," she said slowly. "She always had a pink scarf." Daniel nodded. "That scarf's in my safe." His voice broke. "When she died, I lost my reason to keep going. So I started driving around at night, just watching people, searching. until I saw your twins." He looked down at his coffee. "Lily reminded me of the daughter I never met." Daniel bought out Mrs. Carla's bakery, not to close it, but to expand it. He hired Clara as the new bakery manager, giving her full benefits, flexible hours, and a salary that allowed her to move her children to a better apartment. Mrs. Carla stayed on as head baker, thrilled to teach again without fear of losing everything. But Daniel didn't stop there. He opened a non-profit in honor of his wife and unborn child, Lily and Rose Foundation. Its goal? To feed every hungry child in the city and provide job training to single parents. He personally delivered the first meals, sometimes with Jace and Lily by his side. He said, "If one act of kindness can ripple into a life saved, then maybe love isn't gone. Maybe it's just waiting to be passed on." 1 year later, at the Foundation's first anniversary event, Jace stood on stage. He was taller now, in a clean school uniform. His voice trembled as he spoke. "We begged for bread that day. We were scared, tired. But Mr. Daniel didn't just give us food. He gave us hope. He gave our mom her smile back. He gave us a future." The crowd stood and clapped. Clara, in the front row, wept silently, her hands clutched in Lily's. Daniel watched with glassy eyes. He didn't need applause. He didn't need recognition. That day, he had only one thought. This is what my daughter could have grown into. This is the world she would have lived in, and I will build it in her name. As Jace stepped down from the stage, he ran straight into Daniel's arms. The millionaire bent low, hugged him, and whispered, "You asked for bread, Jace. But you gave me something much bigger. You gave me a reason to live again."